Now what we're gonna do together is we're both gonna stare at the sun and try our hardest to go blind.
To go blind.
Literally go blind.
This video is for documentary purposes only. It's just a recording of an interesting interaction we had. While we very much appreciate the fact that he gave us his time and shared his story with us, that doesn't mean that we encourage others to do the same thing that he does. Don't stare at the sun. Alright, I noticed you're very smiley today.
Yeah, I'm the world's greatest sungazer. And one of the benefits of sungazing is it releases serotonin and dopamine. So
you're looking straight at the sun?
Unbelievably euphoric. Yeah, I think the sun will come out by the end of us talking, and I can look at it for you.
Is that
covered with the
safe?
cloud right now. If you look at Google, it says in 120 seconds, if you stare at the sun, you'll go blind for the rest of your life. But for the last 6 years, I've stared at the sun in Washington Square Park for up to 5 hours a day, every single day. And all it's done is given me a beautiful tan, made me really happy, given me perfect vision, hasn't hurt me in any way whatsoever. So maybe after 10 or 15 years of people seeing me stare at the sun, they'll know they can also.
That's literally, this is the craziest thing I've heard all day. I've never...
The sun's coming out right now, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
But you're doing it, and you're fine.
But notice the smile, too.
I see the smile. I saw the smile. That's why I wanted to interview you. I saw you smiling, staring at the sun.
So it's 90 degrees today. How bright's the sun right now?
Very bright.
Take a glance.
It's quite bright.
Like maximum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is that? What made you discover this?
I had a dream 6 years ago. I woke up from the dream and I walked outside like a robot into like the brightest sun, and I stared at it for 2 hours straight, and I kept saying to myself, either you're gonna go blind or you're gonna be the best sun gazer in the world. And I knew I wasn't going blind, and at the end of 2 hours I was clearly the best sun gazer in the world, and I've been doing it ever since.
Wow. And what did that teach you about, do you feel like, because obviously what you said about Google says you can't stare at the sun, what did that teach you about what people tell you versus
I didn't read that on Google.
Reality?
I didn't see the thing on Google until months after I was doing it. I didn't even know that they said you could really go blind from the sun.
Wow.
I even learned about sun gazing after I'd been doing it for a few months. I thought I was the only one doing it.
That's really incredible. And then are you, because you had that like experience in a dream, are you like a spiritual person? Do you feel like you have...
Yeah, I'm super spiritual. I've been spiritual my whole life. I had like 250 out-of-body experiences when I was 19 in college in 1 year. I was doing it like 5 or 6 times a day, taking notes in a notebook. So I've always been on a spiritual journey. I'm well aware that when I physically die, my soul continues. Are you aware of that?
I really personally,
right now.
Well, so I'm so confused, but I haven't personally had any spiritual experiences, but I know some people who are very intelligent, who are very rational, who have and do believe in that, so that's why I'm very open to the idea of it.
I'll tell you something interesting. I personally don't believe anything I haven't experienced on my own. So I can totally understand other people not believing anything they haven't experienced on their own. And the reason it works that way is that experience isn't only the greatest teacher, it's the only teacher. The only way anyone learns anything is through experiencing it on their own. No one can be told anything from anyone else and it has any true effect. Only experience is a teacher.
And how can somebody who's never done this before have like an out-of-body experience or a spiritual experience?
I would start with something called The Seth Material by Jane Roberts on YouTube. The author, when she died, made it free forever in perpetuity. I think it's the best spiritual information I ever came across in my life. I'm 56, and I came across it when I was 18 years old, and in all these years I never came across anything that could teach the highest levels of spirituality better, quicker, or more correctly.
Wow, that's incredible. I know Charles is dying to ask you some questions, so we'll switch and he'll ask you some stuff.
All right, perfect.
Do you guys have followers, or you new?
We're new.
Like 540.
Cool.
It's not crazy. But yeah, you said since you were spiritual and all of that. For me personally, I've been in the same book.
You have quite a voice, young man.
I do, yes. Yeah, that's the whole reason I do YouTube. But yeah, so I got into out-of-body experiences from my mom. You know, you had said you had over 250 in a year.
Yeah.
She had the same process of where she would relax and then she'd just go out of body.
Did she use the headphones and alpha, delta the theta waves and stuff?
No, it was all just like relaxation.
She could do it multiple times a day?
I don't know if it was multiple times a day, but I know she would do it to where she would relax.
Sure.
And it would just go out of body without her wanting to. So
she
then
would have to enter a state of a certain relaxation to be able to leave her body.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say, for me, I've had only 2 out-of-body experiences, and one of them, it was a partial, so I felt the full transition of me lifting out of body.
Right.
And then my heart raced a little too much, so then I got sucked back in.
Right. If you get too excited, you get sucked right back in.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Be super chill to stay out.
Yeah, it's just like lucid dreaming too. I've noticed that as soon as you get excited that you're in the dream, you just get sucked back out.
Absolutely. So part of the skill of exploring that, I think, what's it called? It's not a nice place that you go to when you leave your body. I think it's called purgatory. It's the place where people go where they die, where they're confused, and it's like a waiting room. And there's like kind of nasty spirits floating. Did your mom tell you about it?
The reason that she quit doing it is because she had a shadow figure around, and then she didn't want to come back.
So I describe them as like cartoony blobs, like almost like amoebas.
Okay.
That have like a little monster inside of them. Like you could see the features of a monster in a blobby, cute amoeba. So they're like creepy but not scary. And like I've seen up to 20 of them at a time. They float around, and like when I was leaving my body all the time, I think they thought I was really strange and weird. So they're all floating around looking at me like I'm like the most interesting thing.
Because they're an entity.
Hurt me, but they were floating around. I learned after a couple months that they couldn't touch me. They were just observing me. And I didn't know why the fuck there's these little monsters floating around. And it's like, I'd see my bedroom before I go to bed. I float out of my body, and it's like 80% my bedroom, 20% different, and very often these floaty people observing me. I think they were demons or some shit.
I mean, fair enough, as long as you
I don't know what the fuck they are.
Yeah. But I will say for that, the only issue I've had with out-of-body experiences is unknowing the feeling. Like, because I've had 2 where one, I remember looking at my body, and then after that, I don't remember anything. And then the second one, I went to my sister's room and I messed with something. But realistically,
did you ever touch your body when you were out of your body? Did you poke yourself?
No, I didn't.
That's one of the most fascinating things to do. You feel like plasticky.
Really?
It's very weird. And then you realize that you're laying there and you're separate, touching yourself. It's very bizarre.
So I have to ask, when you first lift out, it's the feeling of lifting out.
You're doing it the right way, by the way. You're doing it because it's like a sit-up to get out. You got to do there's muscles inside of you that we don't have in the physical reality, that we only have in the non-physical reality. So you've got to learn to use muscles that don't exist in the physical world to pull out of your body. And it's what you just said. Yeah, it's doing a sit-up with muscles that don't exist here, but exist in the other dimension. So you've got to work out these muscles to pop out of your body quickly.
All right, so it's more of the abdomen type of thing.
Well, it's not the abdomen though, but it's like you do a sit-up with your soul. You pull out like doing a sit-up, but you're not using the sit-up muscles, using a muscle that we don't have.
Okay.
If that makes any sense.
I feel like it makes sense because like when I first did it, like I had the initial reaction of full pulling out and then getting sucked back in, and what you were talking about doing that.
I know you definitely did it because you know also the feeling of if you get too excited or you get too like, you think, oh wow, I'm out of my body. You're pulled right back in. You got to be real mellow about it to stay out.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about it. But
because that cord sucks you back.
Yeah, and I've been working on it ever since.
I personally couldn't leave my bedroom. I was at George Washington University in D.C. and I used to do it in my bedroom all the time. I couldn't go through the ceiling or the walls or anything. I was stuck. For 1 year, I couldn't leave because I wanted to go spy and become a billionaire. I couldn't leave my bedroom.
No, I mean, fair enough.
I think because that thing that sucks you back in wouldn't allow me to go far.
Okay, so they were just making sure that...
It might be dangerous to leave your body like that. They say it is.
I would say, yeah, it's like dying. When you die, it's the same as an out-of-body experience.
It's not like dying, because when you die, you don't need your body anymore.
Well, I would say the cord's just not attached after you die.
But theoretically, when you leave your body, other entities can go in. Mm-hmm. That's what they say.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever happened to me, but I don't really know what's true about that. Have you heard these type of things?
Yeah, I've definitely heard where like.
So many people say don't leave your body.
But I mean, like for the most part,
You gotta leave your body because then you know for sure when you die you're gonna continue. There's no other way to know.
Yeah,
you gotta exist without your body, like floating around like a ghost, to know that you really are gonna live after you die. And that's the best lesson in the world. But after you learn that lesson from out-of-body experience, I think there's nothing else to learn from out-of-body experience. I think it's time to move on. You know, because you could obsess with it, and what are you going to do? You're just going to obsess with that shit. There's so many spiritual things to move on to.
So then after an out-of-body experience that I'm able to learn and produce every single time I want to.
You want me to spontaneously teach you to look at the sun? It makes great content.
All right, perfect. We'll do that.
You ready?
All right.
What you first look at my eyes so you can see, have the confidence of how easy it can be.
Okay. And I also see that you have like brown eyes. Is that different than green? Okay, blue. Okay, those are the most sensitive.
You see how easy it is for me? Now what we're going to do together is we're both going to stare at the sun and try our hardest to go blind.
To go blind.
Literally go blind.
I'm
Pull
going
your
blind.
eyeballs open. Ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going to coach you. Pull your eyeballs open. Open. Oh yeah, you're doing great. Open. Open.
Oh,
the whole thing is a fight to keep your eyeballs open.
Yeah, it is.
Your eyes should start watering.
Yeah.
You're making great content. You'll get a lot of viewers out of this.
Yeah.
Open them. Open them wide. Open them. Look at the sun directly. The tears are good.
We're gonna go.
Now you're not in pain. You feel uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's not like someone's punching you in the head. No.
No.
Fight to keep your eyes open.
All right, 5.
Oh, that's good.
3, 2, 1. All right.
Good
All right, beautiful. I appreciate
Good
that.
job.
That's actually really. Oh.
And now you're not blind.
No, I'm
and
not
if you
blind.
keep it up
Got
on
a lot
your
of
own,
tears coming out, but
if you keep it up on your own every now and then, stare at the brightest sun, you'll develop a tolerance and you'll be able to.
I will say though,
drink energy.
most of the time when people say that they stare at the sun, they see a black light. I'm not seeing any black light.
No,
you know, like
no
when you look at it. All right, awesome. Well, that's a good experience.
That was incredible.
I'll take it. All right, I
I'll
appreciate